Alright, welcome to another day match? I don't know. Another match of Ether Raids. This one was a rematch which I lost. We went in here with no plan or hope really. Well, I did have a plan, but I didn't think it would be too successful because it was based on a speed check, and I wasn't sure if Sita was going to win the speed check or not. So that was really the setup. Ultimately, what ended up happening was that the assigned decoy hit Maria instead of Sita. And I was quite surprised by that because I figured that Sita would have had a lower defense stat in comparison to the Plumeria here, but I guess she just got hit with too many debuffs and just didn't work out. Sometimes that happens, but yeah, it just didn't work out. Plumeria got hit with the assigned decoy, and that really wasn't supposed to happen, so didn't work. Would have been interesting to see if Sita would have tanked the Byleth here, but unfortunately we didn't get to see that matchup. And then also Camilla ended up way further down than I anticipated. I didn't expect her to get that far down on the map, and I probably would have lost either way because I did not have that in mind when I was putting together my my strategy here. But you're gonna watch it unfold.
As you say.
Yeah, you're gonna watch it unfold and get to see what the outcome was in real time here, while I review my additional thoughts here on the banner and also on the shadow game. I don't think I spoke extensively about it. I just touched on it every now and then, but I don't think I'm ever going to play that, man. It doesn't look like Fire Emblem. It's not even that. It looks like Fire Emblem in the sense that, the character designs and some of the story aspects and stuff, but you don't actually get to play the game. And a big part of Fire Emblem is the strategy behind playing the game and team compositions and stuff like that. So not something that is targeted to me, I guess. I'm sure there are people out there who would be more interested in playing that particular setup, but it's not going to be for me. It seems a lot like Pawns of Loki or Rival Domains mixed with guessing, I guess, in terms of trying to find out who done it. There's that aspect to it there as well. And there we go. I really didn't have a plan in terms of what to do in terms of trying to take out Jimbro here, but the match is over, so we didn't have to worry about it, or we lost. Let's load the next one. Okay, so we continue here in this match here. The rest of these are pretty straightforward wins. Bring Tana. Tana equals win. Tana is, again, she's so good. Being a warp beacon, very good role to play in the current meta because mobility is so important, and the units that don't have that mobility can benefit so much from a unit that enables you to gain that mobility. So Tana is just so good because of that one thing that she does, and I don't see that aging poorly unless we start getting more warp denial in the game. And I don't think they'll add that much more of it. It's already saturated as it is with higher ground and lower ground, so I don't think we're going to get too much more of it unless we get like a very powerful save that will dominate in the way that the Neathhoggers did. And I don't see that happening for a little bit. Even though, Corrin is a save and she could probably run higher ground and lower ground, but I don't see her being as dominant as the Neathhoggers. My opinion. Could be wrong. Primarily because she's a speed save. But yeah, I don't think I'll be playing that Shadows game. The story looks very good, actually, which is surprising given, coming from Fire Intelligence System. Well, maybe it's not. They have made good stories before. I just don't know who's in charge of Fire Emblem Heroes. The stories there, it's just, they're not doing the greatest job. They have so many different spots where they could put additional story content, and they just don't do it. It's really weird. Don't know if they're going to be expanding on the Shadows gameplay, and maybe at some point there'll be something that allows you to take more control over the units and what happens. Because if you have control over the units, then you get, I think that will enhance. Well, maybe it would take longer to get through the matches, and that's something that they don't want, because they want to focus more on the logic, deduction, guessing who the villain is aspect of the game, and you want to speed that along as much as possible and reduce time as an aspect of social deduction. So no stalling. So I don't know, but then also that's a good tactic when it comes to social deduction. So deception rather. So I don't know, counterintuitive in that sense of it, but yeah, for now I'm not interested. The characters do look like characters that will eventually be in Fae. I can see them being on a banner at some point. Definitely, they have the looks of it. But yeah, that's I guess to summarize my thoughts on that game. Looking forward to see it develop though, in terms of what they do with it in the future. Could be something positive or something that will get me on board at some point, maybe. But for now, I think 2 games is enough. I don't think I have enough time to accommodate another potential gotcha. But yeah, Corrin looks absolutely insane. B skill is definitely where a lot of her defensive strength is, along with the weapon, which is concise and to the point and does exactly what you need it to do. A lot of res-based damage reduction, flat DR in the weapon, so all of that's good. And then the special has all of the new gimmicky stuff, which is, I don't know how well it will age. I think, well, I mean, looking at how Ice Terrain aged, then I'm guessing that this will age just as well, as alongside how much ground it covers. Definitely not a bad thing, and a good counter to Camilla, in the sense that terrain cancels out the terrain, and then, it's difficult for Camilla to warp in. But then the question is, can Corrin actually tank Camilla? And I don't know if the answer to that will be yes. She does have the brave damage reduction, she does have the speed check, but then we've seen all of that on Diamant already, legendary Diamant, and that still didn't work out in his favor. So I don't know. We'll see when the testing comes out, and that will give us our answer for that particular matchup. But yeah, definitely looking forward to using that Corrin. Probably won't get her for a couple of weeks, since I'm still 26 now out of 40 on the Ryoma banner, trying to get Ryoma. Hopefully I don't have to spark for him, but that's looking like what will potentially happen. Still no Hinoka either, so nothing at all from that banner, so it's not going great. But I'm gonna keep trying, and then we'll focus on the Lin banner and the Corrin banner, however you want to call it. Don't know what it means for, like, I don't know. They didn't really specify whether or not Lin would enable the extra slot as well, the way that Rune enables the 7th or 8th slot mechanic for offense. So I don't know if Lin is going to enable it as well as be a shadow unit. So that's like 3 or 4 things that she'll be doing as a mythic. So she's going to be highly valuable in that sense. Aside from her firepower, she does have the feud, or is it? I don't know if it's feud or if it's what's that thing that Elm does? Undefended. I don't remember which one it is specifically, but she does have this skill in her C slot that will allow her to ignore support for battle, which will definitely make her stronger. But just looking at what she does, her quick kit and everything, she doesn't look like she's going to hit that hard. So I can understand why they would want to give her the feud effect, just to help out in terms of their killing capability. So the feud effect definitely works, or whatever it is, definitely works in her favor. And then we're going to see how well that ages, because that will determine how long she'll stick around as a mythic. Because she might be a good replacement for Rune if she enables the extra slot, because I've been saying that Rune's biggest problem is that he just can't reach, but she won't have that issue since she's a range cav, she's just a range cav. I was going to say melee cav, which with additional range, but essentially she's just a range cav. So I don't think she'll have the same problem that Rune has in terms of being able to join in the combat. I think Lin will be able to assist with cleaning up, whatever it is that you're coming across, or maybe not even clean up, maybe just going in and being a primary nuke, since she has that effect in her C skill. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see what people cook up with her, and in terms of just different play styles and how that is incorporated into things that are done in game. I think she is going to be a promising unit, but again, with her, it's we really just gotta see what happens when it comes out. Same with the core, and we gotta see in testing how they perform. It's really gonna be down to that. It looks like she has enough, but I'm just not sure. And yeah, I mean, like I said before, I'm not a fan of horse, her being a horse. That's kind of weird. But I can definitely understand the desire to have her in that capacity. All right, we're going to go through some of the defense replays, not all of them, just a couple, primarily the losses. I mean, overall, there's really not that much to learn from, the replays from this week, since I didn't really build a defense. It's just something that I brought over from the last Chaos season. Didn't really build a defense because I had no clear answer to Jimbro. I wasn't quite sure how to construct the defense with him in mind. It would probably involve some type of feud effects or undefended with Embla. I feel like that would probably be the only way, but then also that would mean I'd have to use Embla or Layla or Dimitri. Having those options on defense just didn't excite me, so I didn't end up going that route. I just didn't bother to build anything different, so this is what we got. It did okay, I guess, for the current meta that we're in. I guess you could say that much at least. And the losses were just expected losses. Nothing that we could really do about those, or the ones that you're going to see currently. Very strong opponents who played very well. Yeah, couldn't really stop them from taking me down, pretty much. A couple of them played very scared, but this one with this Byleth here was just too much speed for me to even touch. Very strong. So you're just going to be able to see the outcome of that. It's not even really set up properly so that, Marth can come in and get the full effect from having his teammates nearby. So it's just a lot of elements on this defense that just weren't complete or good enough to take on something like this, or Byleth, or Armored Bro as well. So a lot of gaps here, but I try to do what I could with it.
I won't lose.
And just did not end up going well. But I mean, that aside, you're gonna see what happened for the rest of the week overall. I guess just stick around and watch. Let's talk some more about the what's that thing called? The banner. Any more thoughts on that? What do I got? The terrain effect from Corin looks very enticing. Canto control in a terrain, kind of problematic, because I think from the wording of it, it's sounding like it's going to be in effect on turn 1. So once you load into the map and the Corin is there, you're probably going to have to deal with that, both on the ring and the unit herself. I think you're going to have to deal with the effect on both occasions, and that's looking kind of challenging. Not something I'm looking forward to dealing with. And more Canto control is never a good thing, but probably a good thing in the sense that we don't have a ton of what do I want to say? It frees up your team. It frees up your team composition, so you don't necessarily have to run Canto control on your infantry units now. You can run Bulwark or something else in their C skill, which is way more valuable than having to run Canto control. I guess in the sense you're kind of losing out on the duo Leon effects, where if there's a end turn condition, you still fall victim to that because you're not actually running the Canto Control C skill, but then not that many people actually, run that in their C skills. They just go with the regular Canto Control instead of the upgraded version. So it's still not that much of a opportunity cost or opportunity loss, I guess you could call it.
I'm so sorry.
I think having it in the terrain effect is actually fantastic overall, because even if you break, there's so many, because of how vast the terrain is, even if you break a block, you're still going to fall victim to the Canto Control effect from somewhere else. So I think overall it's a net positive to have it on the terrain, and I think having Corin just for her effect there is very strong. I don't think she's a unit that you want to have coming in on turn 3. In terms of a reinforcement unit, you definitely want her on turn 1 to lay down that terrain effect. You don't want that coming in late game. So that rules her out. Well, not necessarily rules her out completely, or I mean, it's still up to what you want to do with your team, but I wouldn't want her to be on such a late turn. You definitely want her early in to get the Canto. You always want Canto Control at the beginning to get the full effects out of it, to stop whoever is trying to hit and run your team from doing that. And I think the way that she's designed is very good in that sense, because even if they take her out, the terrain will still be around, and unless they attack and replace the terrain with, let's say, fire terrain or miasma, the terrain is going to still be there, and it's still going to cause problems for your opponent. So I think it's overall a positive. The fact that it's kind of like the ice, where you still have to break the block to attack there, I think that's also a positive. I think it's just a good terrain effect overall, and I don't see any negatives out of it. Torn herself as a unit, is there anything bad about her? I mean, it's to be seen if her defensive capabilities are going to live up to it. In terms of if she's going to be bulky enough, I think she will be. There seems to be a lot there in terms of defensive bulk. When you look at everything else that she has to support her, I think there's enough there for her to be good. Yeah, so there's that. I don't know. I think it'll probably still boil down to what her actual stats are. I think we're going to have to wait and see for the stat line to come out to make a final determination in terms of how well she's going to perform. I think that's probably going to be what it boils down to. But overall, she's looking like she's going to be a good unit to build a team around, or build a defense around at the very least. And especially when it comes to speed, we have so much support for speedy units that she's just going to be incredibly fast with that support in the current meta. It's going to be really hard to outspeed her for at least a couple months. I want to say 2 months at least. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that from Corin. Everyone has been saying, getting rid of her save skill is the best way to go. Giving her just a regular save skill, I think, probably is going to be for the best, because there aren't a lot of mage units that hit really hard. None really come to mind right now, aside from like Veronica maybe, but not really. Unless they have like reflex support, but then you're probably gonna die regardless of mage or not. Yeah, so I don't know. Everyone seems to be on the fence with that, or on the side of removing that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much Corin in a nutshell. Definitely looking forward to using her. Like those are my initial thoughts right now. Lynn, looking at her damage analysis, like what's in her kit and stuff, I think she's good. I don't think she'll do enough damage to like take out far saves, but since she has that feud effect, maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't see her attacking into BK and taking him out, given the weapon triangle for one, and then just damage overall. I don't think it'll be enough. And I also don't think it's going to be enough for her to take out, let's say, Corin, for instance. Probably older units, she'll do, well there, but I don't know. I don't see her being the greatest combat unit. I see her falling off, especially because she's a mythic. Those tend to not have the greatest longevity from, just memory. I can't think of a mythic that lasted particularly long outside of, like, let's say Hearthvulgar. In terms of being a combat mythic, the Hearthvulgars have been like the mainstays in terms of overall power. I can't really think of any other ones that have stuck around. So I expect that, like, look at Uller and where she is currently in terms of, like, firepower. You pretty much just have to swap out her weapon entirely for her to do anything. So give her a complete kit overhaul for Uller to really do any damage. So yeah, I don't expect this new Lyn to be anything different when it comes to that. So that's that. I don't know, man. Overall, I'm excited to test out the new mechanics, but I don't know. I think the units themselves, in terms of how they will perform, or Lyn at the very least, I don't see a high threshold there for her. Corrin, I think Corrin will be really good in terms of, like, performance, but Lyn, not so much. Partnerships are going to be interesting to see how well they partner with additional units, not just now, but in the future as well, in terms of what Lyn does. Is that going to be good as we move forward into the future of the game? Hard to tell. It looks like they did confirm that she will give, or did they? I don't know. I'm assuming that she will give the extra slot mechanic, which means that she's more than likely going to be the best light mythic currently, because Rune is, like I said, not the greatest in terms of covering space. Will her style effect or style support age well? Turning units into 2 range, like having because essentially what it means is that every melee unit that comes out from here on moving forward will have the ability to be made into a 2 range nuke. Is that something that's going to be good for the future of the game? Or, I mean, ultimately, it probably is going to come down to whether or not they're able to take out whoever the far save is or the near save. So I guess you have to take that into consideration as well. Armored units are only going to get stronger from here on out. Looking at how powerful Jimbro is, very few units actually get through him, unless your name is Camilla with support, I guess. And then also Ryoma seems to be able to get the job done as well. So I guess when you look at it in terms of a mechanic, I don't know if it's going to change that much in terms of the defensive builds, because the saves are just not going to go away, I don't think. Regardless of the meta, saves are just always going to be good. Armored units in general, because you're just going to have bulkier armored units, no? As we move forward, so... I don't know, hard to tell. Maybe with dragons, there could be some play there, because dragons, you don't usually get a ton of stuff. So if we get, like, good dragons in the future, they're good, because dragons have, in terms of the matchup versus Armored Bro, his effect doesn't work against dragons, if I remember correctly. So they will be able to have safe initiations. So that's something to consider. But I don't know, man. On the fence with her effect overall. And I just don't like what I see when I look at her. It just doesn't make any sense.
We will not lose.
I don't know. And it's basically just an excuse to put Lyn in the game because they know that Lyn sells. So, Lyn, does she cover everything? Legendary, Mythic. I think she has an ult for pretty much every version in the game. Like, there's a Lyn for everything when you think about it, I think, pretty much. Make of that what you will. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much it for the banners. It's just to be seen how they perform when they come out. If, like, are they going to be like frauds like Diamant, or like, are they going to actually make an impact in the game? I don't know. I think their support will definitely impact the game, but from a unit standpoint themselves, how good are they actually going to be? That is to be determined, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we're pretty much done here. Just letting a few, this last replay play out. I don't think I'll do another one after this. This I guess should be enough to give an idea of what took place on defense for me this week. Not a ton of
Too hot.
the first one is pretty good to see Byleth with the support to see what he's fully capable of, but then the rest aren't really that insane in terms of matchups. Just baited out Summer Hathorn and working around her, I guess. Not too much there. Still think she's a fantastic unit, but they're having her run into Black Knight like that. There's potential for her dying the way that she has been so far. So still very impressive in terms of her ability to survive and tank the hit, reflex damage, but I think some of it is because she's just not doing that much damage up front. So, and then Ice Wall on top of that. So take that, make of that what you will. Not a lot of units are going to have that similar stat line and damage output, so there's that. Yeah, not much else that I really want to see from here. Alright, man, that's it, man. GG's. See you in the next one.